How you doing, everyone? This is BK from KL Force Supply. Today we're just going to go over a Lagler Hummel motor and how to diagnose and repair a bad run capacitor. Okay, so first thing we want to go over, if you look at the bench, we have a Lagler Hummel motor set up on our bench, right? Obviously I took the cap off already, all right? First thing we want to do before we work on any kind of motor is always make sure that we're disconnected from power. Okay, that's rule number one. We always want to make sure we're staying safe while we're doing this. All right. First thing I want to touch on is diagnosing a bad run capacitor, specifically in a Lagler Hummel. Which brings me to our digital multimeter right here. All right. What this is we do use this. We put it on one of our lead wires. Normally the black wire that we have a little pigtail made up, something along the lines of this here, where this is for 110, we also have one for 220, where we split the wire and we just take our hook here and we put it through the black lead wire. And what it does is actually reads the amperage, the current going through the wire. Okay, and what that tells us, okay, is whether or not the run capacitor is good or bad. Okay, normally Hummel run capacitors like to run right at about 8 amps. Okay, if you have anything about 10.5 and over, that should raise some concern. Normally, if it's bad, it'll run around 16 amps or higher, or lower in that area. Another thing, if you want to come on down here and take another look, when we pull the cap off, okay, you can see, I got my little wood stick here, you can see we have a burnt wire here. If you get it nice and close there, we have a nice burnt wire, which we are going to have to replace, okay, and also down here, if you can see, there's a little bit right on top here, we have some char marks, okay, which indicates that something burnt up or went wrong. And also down in the bottom of the electrical box here, we do have an oily residue. That oily residue is the oil that's stored inside the capacitors, okay? So that's going to be a very big indicator that something's wrong with one of your capacitors, whether it's your start capacitor or your run capacitor, okay? So now looking at the motor, this top one here, this is our run capacitor right here. This down here is our start capacitor. Now getting back to safety, all right? Before we even touch anything in here, we want to discharge our start capacitor. Okay, so again, this down here, this is our start capacitor. What I use for this is a pair of angled needle nose, just like this, okay? Make sure it's an insulated handle, okay? We're dealing with electricity. If it's not insulated, you're gonna get zapped and it does not feel good, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here, we're just gonna carefully take the leads off, just like that, okay? Now, what's gonna happen is, once I kill the juice in this capacitor, there's going to be a spark here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two tips of my needle nose pliers. I'm just going to touch both those terminals together. Okay, here we go. Clear. Okay, that's what you want to watch out for. That stores energy in there, and that will seriously hurt you. Okay, so once we do that, we just go back and we just make sure that there's no more juice left in there. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for the run capacitor up here. Normally, the run capacitor does not hold energy like that, but we still check it anyway. Okay, because again, safety is everybody's first concern. Okay, now there is 3 wires on the run capacitor, so there's that one down low, which is a black wire, and then there's the one on top on the blue wire, and then this was a brown wire. Okay, but again, we're just going to come here, we're going to kill this. Okay, get them in there any way you really can. Now that did hold the charge. If you saw, there was a spark there. So again, always just protect yourself. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to go over is since we killed the start capacitor, okay, we actually want to pull the run capacitor out. Now, I've already loosened this to make it easy for the video. Okay, we're going to loosen up this nut, which is a 3/4 inch wrench right here. We have our 3/4 inch wrench. Take the nut off. All right, our wires are off. This just slides out just like this. Okay, now as you can see, there's obviously something bad going on inside there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this housing off, okay? we're going to take our new run capacitor. As you can see, it's new, clean terminals. All right, this is a 40 UF. This comes from Lagler. Okay, I only use OEM parts, okay, for all the machines that we work on. OEM is always the way to go. As you can see here, 40, I'm sorry, right here, 40 UF. Okay, that's the number you want to look for. All right, so now putting this back in the machine. All right, we're going to just slide our little sleeve on just like so. We're going to put this in just like that. We're going to put our star washer and our nut on. We're going to tighten it down. Okay. Now, obviously, we have to repair this wire. I'm going to do that a little bit later. I just want to show you guys how to take it out, how to put it back in. What we're going to do is we're going to take our pliers, put our lower terminal on that bottom terminal, put this lead back on this terminal here, just the way we took it off, same exact way. And then this brown wire, once we repair that, is going to go right here. Okay. Once we're done with that, we're going to reconnect our start capacitor leads just where they were. Okay. And we're good to go. What I like to do is, before I put the cover back on, I just like to run it again using my multimeter. Okay, I like to run it, and I like to make sure that we're running at 8 amps and that the motor is working properly before I patch everything up. So this way I don't waste time, having to take the cover off if there's still something wrong. All right. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, anything like that, please let me know in the comment section below. Thanks. This is BK from KL Force Supply, helping you get the advantage.